By the way, the War of 1812, Canadians were not in it because the Canadians did not become a country until 1867. So irrelevant information.
War of 1812.
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 Welcome back, everyone, to episode 7 of Bachelor Mondays with your Steinbach Pistons. I am your host, Easton Bennett. As always, Tanner is starting off the show. Tanner, let's talk about the episode this week. It was a little bit different. They were all one-on-one dates, and Colton just got to pick 4 girls that he wanted to do hometowns with. Now, we started with Tayshia. They went to the noisiest coffee shop in all of Denver. What were you thinking of that date after she kind of threw some of the other girls under the bus, saying they weren't ready for the engagement at the end of the show?
I think it just shows that she's a little bit insecure about herself. I think she's trying to put the other girls underneath her in her eyes. She can't know personally what the other girls are going through. Just like I don't know what you're going through sometimes, even though we're friends. You know, I lost a little bit of respect for her when she did that because she's trying to get ahead by selfish ways.
I did not like it at all. She was ruining the nature of the game. She hurt my feelings trying to watch that, and I can't imagine how Kaylin and Cassie felt after they just got completely thrown right underneath the bus and almost cost them their lives on the show.
I think they mic'd up the wrong people because, like, you could hear the conversation of everyone but them. So
What about the Tayshia part?
I think that was the worst date of the season so far. I don't like that Tayshia threw someone under the bus. She shouldn't be focused on that. Even if prompted, personally, I would not say anything about anyone else. Just have the integrity to do so. And I wish Tayshia and all the other girls had the same integrity as me. And morals. And good looks.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to create some controversy, which is no good. You know, Cassie's my girl, throwing her under the bus like that. I don't know how you could ever do that to a girl like that. She definitely did nothing wrong, so...
I agree. I mean, I don't like what Tayshia's doing. I think she's playing dirty Bachelor right now. She's just throwing girls under the bus left and right, and I don't like that. So Kaylin, the next one-on-one date, she's obviously mad about it. Goes up to Colton. She's pissed, and she kind of just says, you know what, this is what's up, and I'm ready for marriage. So let's do this thing. Kaylin gets a rose. Tayshia gets a rose. 2 roses. What were you thinking of Kaylin's performance?
Kaylin did very well that episode. I think she pulled a few cards out. She definitely knows how to get to Colton's heart and talk her way out of trouble, which is not good for Cassie because sometimes she can work herself into a little bit of a hole. But I think Kaylin just really knows how to get to Colton, and she definitely really affects that on him. So.
Yeah, I've kind of come onto the Kaylin train here the last few weeks, and I love the emotion and passion that she showed there, and I was very happy with her.
I think she showed a little bit of fire in her. I think she realized she was on the outside looking in, and she really dug her toes in and got to work, and she got her rose. I think she said the right things, and now she just has to back them up because you can't always say things; you have to back them up.
Yeah, you always got to back things up with your actions. So if any of you guys ever end up on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, make sure to keep that in mind.
I think it's a tough situation when Colton comes to you and says that someone else said this, because then it becomes your word against theirs, and you don't want to seem too defensive, but you don't want to, Kurt agrees with me, not care. So I think she handled it pretty well, and she basically just stood up for herself, and the date went well as well, and that definitely helped. If the date wasn't going well, then Colton might not believe Kaylin, but it went well, so he did believe Kaylin.
Now, one person that does not know how to get to Colton is Hannah B. Hannah B absolutely crash and burn this week. They went to the hometown dates, butchered the conversation with Colton's mom, and didn't make it out alive, didn't make it out with a rose. What are you thinking of Hannah B's performance?
Yeah, she cannot hold a conversation. She's definitely one of the worst speakers I've ever heard. She literally just looks at him and just he'll ask what she thinks of this or tries to get her to open up, and she just says the exact same thing and deflects questions like she's Donald Trump in an interview. So
I honestly wasn't really too surprised that she got sent home. She just seemed very fake and not like herself all the time. You never really knew what you're gonna get. She acted a lot different around Colton than she did the others, so you could kind of see that one coming, and I think Colton figured out that she wasn't the one.
I mean, I thought she was fine. She went and met their parents, and maybe if this was a different situation, things would continue between them, but it's not. There's other girls that he's just developed more of a relationship with. I think Colton took Hannah B there. It might seem kind of mean to take her to your parents and then kick her off the show, but I think he was very on the fence with her. And so he took her to see her parents, got their opinions, see what they thought, and I thought that was the right move. And then in the end, it just didn't work out. There's too many girls on one side of the fence, and they were sitting right in the middle.
You know, I think she kind of could see the writing on the wall a little bit. I think they were kind of almost growing apart a little bit, especially after she heard from his mom about all the things that she'd asked him, like, does Colton love you? Do you know what he feels about you? And she didn't really have a good answer for her, and I think
that that hometown date was a little bit awkward. Would you agree?
Yeah, I felt a little awkward watching it, and I think she kind of put the pieces together, and she wasn't terribly upset, but you know, she put in a good fight, and she had her heart on her sleeve.
Now that left two roses left on the table with 4 girls. Heather, Cassie, Hannah G, and Kirpa go on this little group date on a little train thing. Heather goes first. Heather ends up just taking the easy way out and just leaves the show. What were you thinking?
You know what? I guess you gotta respect her, right? She left and didn't get kicked off once again now, twice in the show here, and I guess props to her. She knew she wasn't gonna win, but to be fair to her, she was probably one of the realest and nicest girls on the show. So I think she did good, and she got some great publicity out of it. So you know, I think she had a great experience.
Yeah, she definitely kind of knew that she was going home. Probably the case with a few girls this season, I think. You know, kind of get out before they get kicked off, and it's kind of embarrassing, I guess, when you get kicked off. I know that would hurt your feelings quite a bit, but so yeah, just pull the chute, pump the brakes, get out of there. Not a bad play.
Well, I think more girls should just leave and realize things aren't going places with Colton, but Heather had her first kiss with Colton. I don't know why she would back out now. She hadn't kissed anyone, and she's 23 years old, and now she's just gonna leave. So I don't know. I don't know if I bought the whole first kiss thing now after that move, but seemed a little bit iffy to me.
I just kind of question why she didn't do that before she went all that way. You know, she went on a train ride. She could have just done it before they left for the date, made it less awkward. And especially that leaving picture of her standing on the back of the train, that just made no sense. That's not very safe. But I think she could see she wasn't gonna be not the winner, but the one that stole Colton's heart. And I think she may have saved herself a heartbreak.
Now the rest of the group date consisted of Cassie going to Colton, Cassie finding out that Tasha is just chucking people under the bus left and right, and Cassie starts crying a little bit, gets a little frustrated because she doesn't know why people make things up like that. So then her and Kirpa kind of get in a bickering match. Colton tells him, hey, I need more time. We're going to have a date tonight. So Kirpa, Cassie, and Hannah G go into the date at night. Now, starting off the date, Colton pulls Hannah G aside and says, hey, I know you're already getting a rose. Obviously, everyone knows this. Here's your rose. What were you thinking of that?
Yeah, Hannah G, she really didn't even say anything the whole time. She was kind of just sitting there, so you kind of knew she was gonna get one. She was just hanging around on the outside. I honestly don't know why she was even in there. I would have put Hannah B in there and then kicked her off on the train with Kendall, and would have took Hannah G on the date and just given her the rose. That didn't really make any sense to me, why you'd put her through that and then just give her a rose right away. But yeah, everybody kind of knew she was getting one anyways, because she really had nothing on her and nothing against her. So
Bold. I think he knew Hannah G was going to get one. I think he should have done that there to put more pressure on it, but I'm not Colton. I think them bickering really isn't a good scene for either of them right now. I think they want to show that they're mature people for Colton, and they haven't been doing that lately. I felt a little sorry for Hannah G. She was right in the middle of that the entire thing, and she didn't say anything. She just kind of took it all in.
Yeah, she wasn't sort of involved in that earlier issue, so it was good to give her the rose. I think he knew that he was going to give her a rose because no one had said anything about her.
I think it was just a little bit of reassurance for Hannah G. I think she was a little worried that she didn't get a one-on-one date, but I think they're at the point in their relationship where they don't need that. And Colton, I think, realizes that too. So I think he just kind of got out of the way. No drama, no nothing. It's an easy relationship. And I think that left some awkwardness between Cassie and Kerpa at the table until I think it was Kaylin came in.
I could kind of see it coming. You kind of see she'd slid under the radar the whole week, and she did nothing to hurt herself. So I was pretty sure she was going to get a rose, and Colton did that early on, I think, to make the last rose even more dramatic.
The last rose was definitely dramatic. Cassie and Kerpa both fending for it. Kaylin decides she's going to come in. She goes and talks to Colton during Cassie and Kerpa's date and kind of says, hey, here's what's up. Tasha and Kerpa have been talking some shit, and this is what you need to know. So Colton ends up coming out, giving Cassie the rose. Kerpa's gone on the next ship out, right? So what do you think of that?
Huge power move by Kaylin there, and I loved it. I think that's going to do her wonders in this show. She kind of came out on top out of all the girls in that. She gets the rose, plus she kind of saves Cassie, who's probably maybe the next favorite to win the show, and now Colton thinks she's just this great girl that'll do anything for him, and I think it was a great move on her part.
Good for her to sort of go and say something, because there's only so much Cassie can say, and I think that at the end of the day, Colton's going to want someone who's focused on their relationship and not focused on other people's, whereas Kerpa was, again, saying stuff about the other girls' relationships. And even if you're prompted by Colton or not, I don't think that's the right move. I think you got to focus on your own with Colton, because if you're not moving forward, then you're moving backwards in The Bachelor just because everyone else is moving forward. So I'm glad Cassie moved on. Big fan of her.
It was a really big power move by Kaylin. I think it was needed. I think Kerpa and Tasha were stirring the pot a little bit too much, and it came back and bit them in the behind. But I think
Nice, I like that.
I think Kaylin kind of showed a little bit of maturity. She helped herself, not only herself, but she also helped out a fellow friend in Cassie. And I don't know word for word what was said, but I hope that she said the right things.
I'm really looking forward to what the families have to say, and I think there's going to be a couple of families that are really going to question Colton and maybe grill him a little bit and make him second guess himself even more than he already has here in the last few weeks of the show.
We got Tasha, we got Kaylin, we got Cassie, and we got Hannah G. All got roses, all going to hometown dates next week. What do you want to say for tonight's episode?
Just want to say I hope Hannah G's date goes really well and her family welcomes Colton in with warm and loving arms, and I wish him happily ever after.
Well, Tanner, thanks for being on. I hope Hannah G's date is the best one, so I appreciate you coming on this week.
Thank you.
So this episode tonight, we got Tasha, we got Kaylin, Cassie, and Hannah G all going with hometown dates. What do you got to say about tonight's episode?
I think it's going to be a good one. The hometowns, there's going to be some dads fired up for sure, which is always fun. Put Colton under the test. He's been making out and dating all these girls here, and these dads kind of get upset. I know last year with Ari, they were kind of grilling him, and I think the dads are going to be pretty tough this year, tough to get by.
I don't know what will happen because I haven't seen it yet. No, but I don't know. I think Tasha will actually stick around, so I think Hannah G, Cassie, or who else is left? Kaylin. I think one of those three is going home.
All right, Kurt, thanks for coming on. Anything else you want to say to the fans?
Yeah, just this week's sponsor, Sunripe Mango. Try it out. Great drink. Sponsor.
All right. Thanks, Kurt. I appreciate you coming on, and we're excited for a good episode tonight, and we'll see you next week. That's all we got for this week's episode, so thanks for coming on, Deck. Appreciate it, and we're excited for a good episode tonight, and we'll see you next week, Declan.